Hi guys, we're going live. We're going to do a live microblading treatment. Katie is going to be doing it today while I am going to be talking. So here we go. Let's see the camera over. And here's our model.
Hello.
Okay.
Alright, we are going to have her choose her color for the pigment. She's got very dark, natural eyebrow color, sorry. So we're going to give you two dark brown options to choose from.
So we numbed her about 15-20 minutes ago, so she's been numbing for 15 to 20 minutes. So now here is the start of the process. So what Katie's doing is she is placing a couple different options for Sarah, our microblading model, to choose from for her brow color. So together we're going to choose it.
I'll give you this. And this is the dark color that I recommended to you before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the next lightest.
So this will probably look best.
Yes. And when it heals, it will lighten up. It's not going to be this dark once your skin finally heals from all of the scabbing and peeling and stuff.
Okay.
It's going to lighten up a lot. So I would definitely recommend the darker color.
Yeah, that looks perfect.
Okay.
I'll take this from you.
And if you guys have any questions, please make a little comment and ask me some questions so I can answer them for you.
I'm just taking some alcohol, cleaning up the brow area, get this pigment off. It's very strong.
Oh no, that's fine.
So she's just disinfecting the brow area with a 70% alcohol. And we have a question from Sadie Garcia. She says, does microblading hurt? I'm not really sure about. Okay, so there is a little bit of a level of discomfort with microblading. It is a form of a tattoo. It is a semi-permanent tattoo. It is done with some needles. Before I turned the live on, we had Sarah numbing for 15 to 20 minutes. We use a cream to start the numbing process. It only penetrates a little bit of the skin. There's 7 layers of the skin. It's only going to penetrate the very top layer of the skin. So the first pass, which we've already told Sarah, and we like to tell our clients beforehand, the first pass is probably the worst. Once we have done our first pass, we go in, we apply a gel anesthetic, and the gel will actually penetrate right into the skin from there. So after that, then her comfort level will be wonderful, hopefully. So everybody does range a little bit. I've had a couple clients that say that it's not that bad. On a scale of 0 to 10, it's about a 2, whereas I've had other clients say it's about a 7 or an 8. So it's very individual. We try to make sure that our clients, as we're working, are as comfortable as possible, checking in with them as we're working, keeping them numb throughout the whole entire process, and then also we send you home numb. As soon as you leave our salon, you will still be numb for about 15 to 20 minutes afterward, to try to help your comfort level as much as we possibly can. If you've ever had any tattoos on your body, I have, and I've also had the microblading done on my eyebrows. I don't think the pain is anywhere near a tattoo that you get on your body. So I hope that that answered your question. I hope that helps. So right now she is looking at shaping the brow. So she's measuring out where her brow should start, where her arch should be, and then where her tail should end. And this all works off of measurements of your face. So it all works with your corner of your nose, so the corner of your eye. That's going to tell you where your end of your tail is. From the little kind of ridge on the inner nostril of your nose will tell you where the beginning of your brow should start. And then right now, if you can look at her, what Katie's doing is she's trying to find her arch. So we try to find side of her nose, through the center of her eye, and then all the way up, and that's where her arch should be. So now she's making sure everything is nice and even. Sadie Garcia again. So does it cost a lot to get this done? So you will find very individual pricing depending on different places that you go. In our area, where we find our competition to be is around $600 to $700. There's a couple places that have one set price at $600 or $700 flat. We don't like to do that. We like to be very individual to the client and what the client needs. So we do a range from $400 to $700. And so basically, if you need a full brow, you have no hair at all, or maybe you just have very little amounts of hair, then you're going to need full brow to be done. So then you're going to be on the higher range of that, so maybe $500 or $600 or $700. If you are someone like Sarah, she is very much so on the lower end, so I can actually show you her brows. And Katie is drawing, but you can see that she has a good amount of brow. Really what she wants is the bulb of her brow, or the head of her brow, or the start of her brow to be a little bit more filled in, a little bit more defined. You can see she's a little bit sparse on the very start of her brow, and then she just wants the arch of her brow more defined. She doesn't really need a huge shaping, she just really needs a little bit of a touch-up, a little bit of a fill-in, so she's on the lower end. So you know, we try to work with our clients as far as price-wise. Yeah, so $400 to $700 depending on what you need. And also, as far as touch-ups go, so the way that we also do our pricing is whatever your initial price that you're quoted at, that your first 4 to 6 week touch-up is included in that initial price. So there's not an extra cost to you or extra price to you to come in and get your touch-up. So you get your initial done, you have a 4 to 6 week heal time. You come back anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, so it could be week 4, week 5, week 6. You get your touch-up, and that's all included in your initial price that you already paid. After that, that's when your touch-ups start to cost. So as far as your retention goes, when you need another touch-up. Microblading is something that lasts 1 to 3 years. It's semi-permanent. So if you're someone who wants to come in at the 6-month mark, or the year mark, or the 1.5 year mark, so that's when your now new pricing kicks in. So we start our touch-ups at $150, and they can go up, and that really price depends upon your retention. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. So your arch is up here.
Yep.
Your inners are basically right where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some hair strokes in through here. And this line right here that I drew is where the tail is supposed to end. If that's where you like your tail to end, I can bring it to that line, or I can stop it in the triangle here that I drew. Over here, I drew the triangle up a little bit further where your brow actually ends now.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you the difference if you want to extend it down to the line or to end it where you have it.
It looks nice where the triangle is, like end it where I have it.
Where it's already at?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, Katie's just going over the exact shaping that she wants. They agree on the shaping together. So we really try to involve the client as much as possible. Obviously, you know, this is going to be on her face, so we want to make sure that she's happy. Brittany said, I'm good at live streaming. Thank you. I'm so nervous, not going to lie. Sorry if my camera's a little
Very
shaky.
nerve-wracking.
Let me know if I'm smiling too much.
No.
Sadie
You're
Garcia
fine.
again.
I am gonna have you.
Can
when
you
I start
drive
working,
home if you have the numbing done?
turn
Absolutely.
your head
You will
either
be
side,
numb for about
depending on
15 to
which
20
eyebrow.
minutes
And do you
afterwards.
prefer eyelids closed?
You
Does
really
that
don't
give you
feel it.
more,
I mean,
like,
if you
work
like
space,
smile or make
Um,
certain facial expressions, you'll
Totally
definitely
up to you.
feel like
I am gonna
a
be
little bit of a
pulling on
numbing
the skin
sensation,
and
but
stuff,
you're
so you might prefer
perfectly
having your
fine to
eyes
drive
closed.
and
Okay.
Whatever
that.
works for you.
So excited!
I absolutely love this treatment. What's so nice about it is that you can literally wake up in the morning and your brows are perfect. You don't have to worry about doing them. You can just wake up and go. Maybe, I don't know what your routine is in the morning, but maybe throw on some foundation and head it right out the door. You don't have to sit there and take 15 to 20 minutes perfecting your brow, because I know it always takes me, you know, when I used to do my brows, it would take me about 15 minutes to make sure that they were even, that the arches were even, that the head of the brow was even. It was just a big pain in the butt. Sadie Garcia, how did you like it when you got your microblading done? And Maddie, how easy does it get infected? Okay, so when I personally got my microblading done, I got my first initial procedure done when I went down to New York City for my training. I had gotten it done by another student, and I actually fell asleep during my very first initial procedure that I had done. And again, it was done by a student who had literally never worked on a live human before. So I was perfectly comfortable. I was numb the whole time. Again, I have had, I think 4 or 5 tattoos on my body, so I was, you know, already used to what to expect for the most part, but it was nothing like I think people are imagining. It's, you know, there is a little bit of a blood involved. It is a wound onto the skin. It is a tattoo. But again, you're numb the whole time. We check in with the client, make sure that they're comfortable. I had then had my touch-up done. I actually went really long when I got my touch-up done, just because I had gotten really busy with my business. So I actually had my touch-up done about 10 weeks later. The normal is 4, 5, or 6 weeks. I had mine done at 10. I'm going to get a little bit personal. I had mine done when I was on my period. I will be completely honest and say, not a good decision. I will say, you know, that's going to make you very sensitive, and I was very sensitive. Again, I was still numb. My level of comfort was definitely more than my first time, again, because I was so sensitive during my period. So that's one thing I would recommend. Don't get it done when you have your period. There's also a couple other things that you want to avoid when you do have your appointment for your microblading. So that is going to be, you're going to be avoiding alcohol for at least 24 hours before your appointment. And that goes for the initial and also the touch-up, or any touch-ups that you have. You also want to avoid caffeine. The reason that you want to avoid caffeine is because that is going to help with your comfort level, okay? Let me see. You also want to avoid smoking, tobacco, blood thinners. You also want to avoid retinol, retin-A, glycolic, lactic, and salicylic acid. Those are all things that are going to affect your retention and also affect your comfort level during it. And then I'll go back to Maddie's question. How easily does it get infected? So again, it is a wound. It is a tattoo on your face. We do everything in our power to make sure that our room is completely disinfected, completely sanitized, sterilized. Everything that we use is disposable, 100% disposable for each individual client. So as far as infection goes, it's going, if it were to happen, it is going to be due to whatever you're doing once you leave the salon. We, by law, have to send you out of here with a barrier on you, on your brand new tattoo. Anywhere you go when you get a tattoo, they always put a barrier on. The barrier that we use is a Cavalon barrier cream. When you get your microblade done, we put it on. It is a little shiny looking. that goes on. It's basically like a liquid band-aid, so you don't actually see it, but it is a little shiny. It lasts about 2 to 3 days, and then it will slowly flake off. So you just kind of let it do its thing. The first about 5 to 7 days are the most critical time as far as healing goes.
Oh, yeah.
You want to make sure that you're not touching your brand new brows with dirty fingers. You're not doing any yard work. You're not working in your basement. You're not dusting, things like that. Cleaning up after the kids, and just touching your brow. Making sure that you're always washing your hands, using antibacterial soap to wash your hands with. We also send you home with a facial cleanser to make sure that you keep your brows nice and clean. So if you, by chance, you're in the car, you're driving, all of a sudden you go and you touch your brow with your dirty hands after you've been touching your steering wheel or something, you go right home and you wash your brows right away. So honestly, we haven't had any infections. I think it would be pretty hard to have an infection happen unless you are doing something very dirty with your hands and touching your brows right after, but hopefully we're not doing that. Sadie Garcia asks again, does the doctor get nervous when working on the patient when doing the brows? So we're not doctors. We are licensed tattoo artists. I am an esthetician. Katie is just a tattoo artist. I'm a tattoo artist and esthetician. So we've been trained on sanitation, sterilization, cross-contamination, disease, disinfection, all that stuff. So yes, of course we get nervous, but at the same time, you can get nervous with anything you do. We absolutely love doing this. It's something that we love doing. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous being live on video right now, but it's funny, I've been an esthetician for about 4 years now, and anytime anybody watches me do anything, especially things that I do all day long, I still get nervous when people watch me, but that's normal. I'll show, so she did a couple passes. Did you do one?
I did one pass through with hair stroke.
Okay. So there's one pass with a hair stroke technique.
And then at this point, we are going to add the numbing gel and some more pigment and let this side sit.
So basically, she went through and she did a pass with the microblade. She did the micro strokes. There's a couple different names for them. We call them micro strokes. It is the most natural hair-like effect that we can give. And now she's going through with pigment and the gel anesthetic and letting it sit and soak into the little channels that she just created with her microblade. And I do want to show you guys what the microblade tool that we use looks like. So if you are not comfortable looking at needles, just a fair warning, I am going to show it in a little bit, okay? Okay, I am going to try to show you the needle. So let's see, there we go. Maybe I can focus it. Alright, hang on, I gotta get my skills going here. There we go, almost. Let me do it down on her shirt a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to show you guys this needle, but basically what it is, it's a row of micro needles. So there's one single row. And on this one, I think we use the 14U blade is what it's called. So there's 14 small little micro needles lined up in a line, and that's what we use. So if you think of tattoos, when you start getting your tattoo, you start out with the outline. It's one single needle. Well, in that sense, it's basically we start our outline with a single row of multiple needles. And then we also have a soft tap needle. The soft tap needle is a row of multiple needles. They're a little bit bigger. I'm going to try to show you. So this is the head of the soft tap. needle right there, and this is our shading needle. And then if you look on the back, so that says 24, and if you see those two rows of dotted double lines right there, that tells me that it's 2 rows of 24 needles, so 12 needles on each row, okay? So that's our shader needle, and there's a couple different names for that. We call it soft tap or powder fill, okay? Some people just want hair strokes. Some people just want soft tap. Honestly, my personal preference of what I love to do is I love to combine both techniques. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I think it's the most natural. But every client's an individual, so if you see some of our before and after photos, you'll see varying techniques, which we do try to list in each photo that we do post to show you what the different effects are. So Morgan asked, is the touch-up included with the initial procedure cost? So Morgan, I actually said that already earlier in the video, but I'll say it again. So the touch-up is a 4 to 6 week touch-up that's done 4 to 6 weeks after your initial, and that is included in our pricing. And again, our pricing ranges from $400 to $700. And I explained the range earlier. Again, I'll say it again. The range is dependent upon how much work you actually need done with the brow that you have. So Katie's just doing some micro strokes, working, and it looks like our client's pretty relaxed right now.
Yep, how are you feeling right now?
Pretty good.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how's your discomfort?
Probably a 3.
Okay, so she says her discomfort's about a 3. Do you feel numb?
Not all the way, but yes.
Okay.
Getting there.
Okay. And Maddie, where are you located? So we are located in Delmar, New York. We're right on the main road. It's Delaware Ave, so it's 163 Delaware Avenue, Delmar, New York, 12054, and our business is called Lash and Skin Studio. Again, Katie just drawing away. And then I'll talk a little bit about why it's semi-permanent. So a tattoo on your body is permanent. The reason that a tattoo on your body is permanent is because it's going down into the dermis. So we have layers to our skin. So we have the outermost layer, 7 layers. It is called the epidermis. Then we have the dermis, and then we have the fat tissue or the adipose tissue, and then we have the muscle. So when we work, we only go into the epidermis, which is why it is semi-permanent, and I'll explain what that means. So whereas a tattoo on your body goes down into the dermal layers, and that's what makes it permanent. So within the epidermis, they are 7 layers of skin that are constantly exfoliating and constantly moving forward. As we age, that process slows down, and that's another reason we don't really want to use the glycolic acid, the lactic acid, the salicylic, like I mentioned earlier, is because those are exfoliating acids, and that's what's actually going to make your skin exfoliate quicker than the normal rate. As we age, again, that process slows down. So as far as your retention goes, the younger you are, the quicker your natural exfoliation process happens. So that's all going to be taken into factor as far as your retention goes. So the older you are, your brows might actually last a little bit longer than somebody's who is younger. And then also as far as retention goes, your skin type plays a role into it. So your skin tone does not, your ethnicity does not affect really anything from one ethnicity to another. It all has to do with your skin type. So if you have large pores, that means you have oily skin. And if you have oily skin, you have more of an oil production. That oil production is actually pushing the pigment out a lot faster than someone with dry skin. So again, if you have dry skin, you have smaller pores, and the pigment will actually be retained by your skin if it's drier. If you have combo, then you just really have to look at the face and see where your large pores are compared to your small pores. And again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Maddie again, if you get more touch-ups, does it last longer down the road or does it stay the same? We have been doing this since about, let me see, since November of last year. So we haven't gotten long-term people back yet, but as far as our training and research goes, because you have pigment in your brow already, yes, your touch-ups should last longer. But again, it's very, very individual. There's no hard answer to say, oh yeah, you're definitely going to get a solid 3 years with this, because that's not true. I can't say that for everyone. You know, the brows last for people 1 to 3 years, and it's very broad because it's, you know, I don't know what you're doing at home, what you're using at home, and you know, skin isn't always predictable.
You can barely feel anything at this point.
This is after I've already let the numbing gel sit with the pigment, and now she says she barely feels anything.
Okay, so now she's nice and numb, so her comfort level is even better than what it was. I'll show you what Katie's doing. So it's basically doing passes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on each brow. If you look at her left brow, our right, as we're looking at her, you can see that the pigment is masking on her. That's what it's called, is when we let the pigment sit onto the brow to kind of soak in and absorb into the skin, into the little channels that we've created with our microblade tool. So as one side is absorbing or soaking or masking, there's different terms for them, she's working on the opposite brow to fill it in more, and then she'll go back and forth. And you can see that she's going to put pigment on that brow and let that one mask. And this whole process, depending on how much work you need done, takes 1 to 2 hours. So if you're someone that needs like a full brow, that, you know, it's going to be more like 2 hours. If you're someone like Sarah here, be closer to an hour. You know, taking in consideration that as soon as you get here for your appointment, we're going to have you filling paperwork out, and we're going to put some numbing cream right on you right away, so that while you're filling paperwork out, you can sit for about 15-20 minutes and let the numbing kick in. And then once we get started, the whole appointment's about an hour to 2 hours, again, depending on how much you need done.
You can see in here where I did her first passes, just a few hair strokes in there.
Nice clean strokes.
And this time as I go in between, make them a little more full before we go through and do her soft tap.
As you can see, you can almost not even tell what's hair and what's a stroke. So that's what's so great about this treatment, is it looks natural. It doesn't look like a tattoo. It's not a solid filled in brow, there's actually dimension to it. I feel like the only way you'd be able to tell that it's a tattoo is if you actually went up to someone physically and started like touching their brow and moving their hair out of the way. You're not actually gonna be able to look at someone and say, oh, you have tattooed eyebrows. So So Katie has a little pigment ring on, so that's where all her pigment is. Every time that you go to make an incision, you have to have fresh pigment right on your needle. And then Maddie says, if you have tattooed eyebrows, can you get microblading? You absolutely can. I do definitely suggest that you contact us either through, email, texting, phone, anything. Get in contact with us first if you do have tattooed eyebrows, to make sure that what you are working with we can work with. There has been a couple people that that have contacted me, and I always ask for pictures because I need to see what shape they have, because I'm going to be honest, 9 times out of 10 old tattoo work that was done 10, 20 years ago, the shape is probably not good for them as they've aged or as time has gone on. So there have been a couple people that I have recommended get a removal done first. There's a couple different methods in different places that you can go to get a removal. Laser removal is one method. There's a saline removal. There's another method. But yeah, if you are a candidate for it, we just are going to have you come in for a consult in person or send photos, and we will be completely honest with you as far as what we can work with and what we cannot. The products that we use. The pigments that we use are from Soft Tap brand.
She keeps calling it a needle, but it kind of feels like running tweezers back and forth. Like it doesn't even feel like a needle.
I've had a client recently say that she said it felt like I was tweezing her eyebrows.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels.
She said that's what the feeling resembled.
Okay.
So pain-wise, it feels like I'm tweezing.
So it's more of just like a weird sensation more than pain.
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sensation that you probably have never felt before on your face, Yeah, but the brand for pigments that we use is Soft Tap. It is a USA brand. We don't get any of our products from China or anything like that. We get everything from USA. Or Canada. I do like Canada products.
Trustworthy products.
Yeah, really good products. And again, everything that we use is disposable, one-time use. It's thrown out after each client. The needles are, the microblade tools, the soft tap tools are all one use. They go right into our sharps container as soon as we're done with the client. And every client is shown their own individual needles in the original packaging before we even get started.
So her eyebrow is done with hair stroke, and I'm going to start her soft tap on this side. All of her hair strokes here up front. Filled it in a little bit. We had to add some arch strokes in here and some down here in the tail.
Looks so natural.
There's not too many here in the middle.
And then probably at the end we'll show her before and after pictures as well.
This is a different feeling from the hair stroke.
So this is the soft tap needle. So it's a little bit of a different technique. So It's more of a tapping.
Just turn just a little bit. Thank you.
So she is tapping the pigment right into the skin. And this creates a shaded effect or fill-in or powder fill. There's a couple different names for them. We call it soft tap or a powder fill.
I can hear the tapping, but I can't feel anything.
That's great. And again, if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Where would you say your pain level's at? Is it still at a 3?
I would say 1 or less.
Okay, so it dropped.
Yep, so as
Quite a
far as
bit.
anybody who's asking if it hurts, her original level was about a 3 on a scale of 0 to 10, and now she says it actually went down to about a 1 now. Now she's pretty much completely numb. So it's not scary. And then as far as aftercare goes, so we're going to send her out of here. We send every client out of here with a barrier cream. Oh, Maddie, you're welcome. We send every client out of here with a barrier cream. That cream will stay on your brows for 2 to 3 days. It's going to naturally flake off. And then over the course of about 2 to 3 days, you are applying a little bit of oil, keeping them nice and clean, wiping them every so often. It's about every 2 hours you wipe them, just for the first couple days. And then after that, continuing, if you're doing an oil heal, you're going to continue oiling them. If you're doing a dry heal, then you are going to just keep them nice and dry and clean with the cleanser that we send you home with. We give you the aftercare instructions to take home with you, and again, by law, we have to do that. And everything is pretty self-explanatory. We try to make it really, really easy to follow our aftercare. And the reason that you would do an oil heal versus a dry heal just depends upon your skin type. So if you have oily skin, we're going to have you do a dry heal. You already have enough oil production happening to keep them moist enough, so you don't need to add more oil to that. If you're somebody who has dry skin, you're going to do an oil heal because you don't produce enough oil on your own, and it's going to keep your brows nice and moisturized. So we have Kaitlyn asking, as the brows are healing, if you're out in public, is there a noticeable amount of scabbing and inflammation? From my experience with having my own microblading done, I was completely fine after the initial procedure. A little bit pink around my brows. I got them done in New York City. I had the barrier cream on. I was actually walking around New York City and wiping my brows down and keeping them clean, and I was perfectly fine. Let me see, scabbing, inflammation. You will have a little bit of flaking happening. You will have a little bit of a blotchiness to your brow. And I actually can post later on in the comments after this what the healing will actually look like over the course of about 10 to 12 days. So as soon as you leave here, again, you're a little bit pink around the brows. You leave here and you're perfectly fine to go do whatever really you want to besides exercising. You don't want to do anything where you're sweating. The next day after I had gotten my brows done, I was a little bit swollen. I had a little bit of inflammation happening just on my like upper lid area where I would put like my eyeshadow or just under my brow, but nothing too noticeable. Nothing like I didn't have crazy swelling or anything like that. And then after that day, it almost looked like I had nothing done except I maybe had filled my brows in with like a darker pencil than maybe I am used to doing. So for about the first 3 days after having microblading done, they will be dark, they will be bold. That will lighten. It's all within the healing process, and you have to trust in the healing process. So you're not going to be picking anything, scratching anything, pulling any flakes or anything like that. Over the course of 3 days, again, they're going to be bold, and then after that, they're going to start flaking and lightening, become a little bit blotchy for a couple days, and then after that, you will lighten a little bit, up to about 50 to 60%, and then a couple days after that, all of a sudden, you'll notice that the pigment will actually come back. There is an oxidation process that happens with the pigment, and what that means is as soon as the pigment touches oxygen, it will darken. Okay, so that's why for the first about 2 to 3 days, as soon as this pigment is on her and it's exposed to oxygen, that's what's going to cause it to become dark and bold, and that is completely natural. Yeah, so I hope that answered some of your questions. You really should not be scabbing. That's one thing we want to avoid. We don't want scabs. It is okay to flake and peel, but we definitely don't want it to scab. So it's just like any other tattoo that you'd get done on your body. You keep it moisturized, you keep it clean, no scratching, no itching, no picking, no pulling anything. Don't put makeup on your brows. Just let them kind of do their thing for about the 10 days that they really, really need to, that most crucial time. And after that, they'll be perfect, I promise. So again, Katie is just doing some soft tap fill in. So she has one brow right now that again has pigment on it, so she's masking. So that pigment is saturating into her brow, into the little channels that Katie has created with the micro strokes and the soft tap needle. And now she's working on the other brow. So again, she goes back and forth between the brows to work, while working on one, letting the other one mask. So now putting pigment onto that brow to let that brow soak and saturate. So you basically just go back and forth between the brows until all the passes are done and you're happy with the outcome.
I have fingerprints all over your forehead.
As far as, let me see, who can get microblading done and who cannot. If you are pregnant or nursing, you cannot have microblading done. Again, microblading is a tattoo, and in New York State, you cannot have it done if you're pregnant or nursing. Also, as far as some conditions, health conditions. If you are someone who has cancer, if you have hepatitis, or if you have hemophilia, we actually do require a doctor's note of approval to have this procedure done beforehand. And also, we do not work on people who are under the age of 18. In New York State, you cannot work on anyone under 18, even with parental consent. So you have to be 18 and above. If you are someone who's interested in having microblading done, even if you're not getting it done, you know, by us, I just want to put it out there. Please do your research on who is working on you, making sure that they have a tattoo artist license, making sure that you can see their before and after photos of that professional's own work. You want to make sure that whatever's going on you, that's going to be on you for 1 to 3 years, is, you know, you're going to have an idea of what that's going to look like beforehand. You're not just walking into something blind and, you know, you all of a sudden get handed a mirror and you see your eyes and you're just like, what the heck did I do? So look at before and after photos. Usually with our microblade photos, we do not edit them. It's exactly what it looks like in person. We try not to edit or blur photos or anything like that when we do our microblading before and afters. Also, make sure that your technician is wearing gloves. With microblading, you have to wear closed-toed shoes, which we are. You have to wear gloves. It is a tattoo. There is blood involved. We also have to wear a hairnet and a face mask. So our client also has to wear a hairnet. These are a couple things. And we actually wear scrubs when we work to prevent, you know, blood from getting on us, pigment from getting on us. The room that we work in, under Albany County law for tattooing, we do have to have non-carpeted flooring, so we have like a wood laminate floor in here. And then also in our room, again, requirements by Albany County in New York State, a sink in the room while we're working and light colored walls. Those are some of the requirements to be able to do tattooing of any sort in Albany County. And it kind of ranges, in New York State, it ranges by county. So you can find out what the requirements are if you go to your, I think it's the health department in every county, and if it's not the health department, it'll be under the licensing department. And anyone can find that information out. So when you're looking for places, don't just go by price. Look at their before and after pictures. Ask them questions. If they cannot answer a question for you, if they're being like sketchy or secretive, don't do it. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Or just come here.
Yeah, come here.
Or just come here. We are sanitary, we're licensed, we're permitted, we're by the book.
Yeah. So again, if you've just joined us, if you have any questions that I can answer for you, please let me know. Just comment them. We have Katie here doing a microblade on our model, Sarah. And Sarah is very comfortable. She looks like she's fallen asleep over there.
Kinda.
This is her brow with hair stroke and 1 pass of soft tap. I'm about to start her second pass, just to make it look a little bit fuller.
So again, we have Katie using the soft tap tool. So she already did her micro strokes. Now she's going through and doing some fill in powder brow or soft tap brow with the soft tap needle. Hi Carissa, hi Barbara. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. And when you guys come here for microblading, we always ask what kind of music you want to listen to so that you're comfortable. We put on spa music, we put on, right now we have some ocean waves on. You can put on your own music. We do have like Bluetooth speakers, so if you want to put on like your own Pandora or something, you can jam out to your own music while this is going on, or if you just want it to be silent, it's really up to you for your comfort level.
Still doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we really wanted to do this video to show you guys exactly what happens, because it is a newer service to the area. A lot of people don't know much about it, so we wanted to get it out there and show you guys you know, exactly what we do. One of the biggest questions that we get is, does it hurt? And you know, we wanted to show you the client and show you, you know, how comfortable it can be for some clients. Hi Lisa, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, just let me know, okay?
I have a super low pain tolerance, and this is not painful at all.
And you're nice and comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. Can't wait for you to see them.
Looks so good.
This is her finished brow over on this side. Again, you can still see all of the hair strokes in there. Plus some of the soft tap fill that's in there. Especially up here in her arch. Before she didn't have much of an arch at all. down here in her tail. None of that is hair. Just gonna let her sit with some pigment.
So after we go through and we've done all our passes, we put some pigment on. We do a pigment mask at the very end to really let everything saturate and absorb right into the skin, right into the channels that we've created with our microblade tools. This just really helps to ensure a really good retention. And I think all in probably took about an hour 15 total.
A little bit slower than usual, just to let you guys visualize and see the process.
So we're letting her mask, and then I'll show you a nice reveal of her finished product. Alright, so I'm going to flip the back to me. I have my awesome little hairnet on here. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I think I touched on everything earlier in the video that I wanted to talk about. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to go over. A little bit about aftercare. Let me see. So the following must be avoided during all 9 days post microblading procedure. So sweating, working out, swimming, hot sauna, hot bath, jacuzzi, sun tanning or indoor tanning. Let me see, any laser or chemical peel treatments. You also want to avoid any creams containing retinol, glycolic acid, lactic acid, or salicylic acid. Let me see, you want to avoid picking, peeling, scratching. With any tattoo, tattoos tend to be itchy when they're healing. If there's times when you go to touch your brow, which you can see I have my brows done, but if there's any time that you go and you touch your brow and you want to actually scratch it, all of a sudden you're driving your car and it's just instinct, you go to touch your brow to scratch it, you're instantly going to touch your brow and you'll be like, oh, don't do that. So just go home and make sure your brows are nice and clean. They will get itchy, so try not to itch. You can tap a little bit, do it with clean fingers or do it with a Q-tip. Let me see, you want to avoid, again, performing tasks related to heavy household cleaning such as garage or basement cleaning, where there are a lot of airborne debris. Dusting, vacuuming, sweeping, things like that you want to really kind of try to avoid. You want to avoid spicy foods. You want to avoid smoking, tobacco. You want to avoid drinking alcohol in excess because it can slow the healing process of your microblading. And then you also want to avoid driving in open air vehicles such as convertibles, boats, bicycles, or motorcycles. You don't want to do anything where you are having debris flying into your brand new open tattoo. Let's see. When you're in the shower, you don't want to put your head directly into the shower itself, into the water. It's okay if they do get wet, but we don't want the water actually hitting them and we don't want it to saturate onto them. Before you take a shower, you will be putting a grapeseed oil that we give to you on your brows, and that's going to create a barrier between the water and your brows. So they will be protected. Let me see. And then also, healing of deeper wounds might last 14 to 21 days. So As far as if you have an event coming up, you definitely want to plan accordingly. When you come in for your initial procedure treatment, you come back in about 4 to 6 weeks. 4 weeks absolute minimum. You can't come sooner than that. You have to let it all heal completely. So 4 to 6 weeks, you come in for your touch-up, and then you have to go another 4 to 6 weeks after that. So again, if you have any events or anything like that, a wedding, anything like that, keep that in mind. You don't want to be putting any product, foundation on your brows, brow powder, anything, any kind of makeup on your brows during the healing process. The most essential days to avoid putting makeup on your brows, if you absolutely have to, 12 to 14 days minimum before you can, because hopefully by that time your brow should be a little bit healed on the outside for the most part. If you do put anything on, make sure that you're doing it with brand new clean applicator. Don't use your same old dirty funky brush that you've been using. Make sure it's clean if you do it. Yeah, I think that's it. It sounds like a lot of information, but to be completely honest, it's really not that bad. It's not. It's really not scary. I feel like, I don't know if maybe people are a little bit scared about it, but it's really not scary. Yeah, so again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Hi, Susie. How are you? Hi, Dorothy. Dorothy Jean. Let's see. Sorry, I'm a little bit bad at holding this so close to my face. Yeah, so I think I touched on absolutely everything I could possibly think of that I wanted to touch on. So if you guys are just joining, go back and watch the full video, or at least the beginning of the video that you've missed, to get a lot of the answers to a lot of the questions that we've been getting. Yeah, I think I touched on everything. So just let me know. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Right now we're letting Sarah, our model, sit and mask with the pigment. So we usually do this for about anywhere from 5, 10, 15 minutes after the treatment, to let the pigment really soak in into the little channels that we've created, to make sure we have the best retention possible. And then as soon as we're ready, I'm going to show you guys her big reveal and show you the finished product, which is absolutely beautiful. Like, I've done probably about 20 procedures at this point. I've been doing it since, let me see, officially I've been doing it since, what is it, March? Yeah, I think it took me a little while. There's a little bit of a process that you have to go to get into it. So I originally got certified back in November and didn't officially start working on clients until March. So yeah, I've done about 20 clients, and each client gets 2 procedures done, so about 40 procedures that I've done, and I'm still amazed by the outcome of it. It's so awesome to me. It's so beautiful. It's so natural. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. Hi, Dorothy. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to flip my camera back around and show you our model. So this is Sarah, and we have Katie. I'm going to show you her brows. And these are it. Nice, full, filled in. We're sitting here talking about them and she can't even see that. I know it.
I'm imagining they're beautiful.
Do you want me to hand you the mirror so you can watch?
Oh, please.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Let me grab the mirror. Here.
Ready to see one?
Yes, ready?
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
You like it?
Oh yeah. It's gonna be 500 selfies coming later.
Hi Amber, thanks for joining us. So we're showing the final reveal after we've done the microblade. So wiping the pigment off. And again, so the first 2 to 3 days, the brows are bolder, they're darker initially, and then you have to just trust in the healing process. So again, it is a process. First 2 to 3 days, they're a little bit bolder, a little bit darker, and then over the course of the 4 to 6 weeks is when you have changes happening to your brows. The most significant changes are going to happen within the first 2 weeks. And actually, after this video, I'm going to post what to expect. I have a couple little pictures to show you guys of what to expect during that healing process, so you can see what I'm talking about.
They look so amazing.
They look so natural.
And we will post her before and after pictures. We have her befores. And this is the mixture of the soft tap and natural hair strokes. Do you want to brush her hair back so we can show the strokes again? Yeah. The strokes are going to be right up in here. So you can't really even tell what's hair and what's a stroke. See that? It's the only way you can really tell is if you actually go up to someone and start brushing their brow hair back, and who's going to do that? Over here. And I have some photos on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and also on our website that shows people that have no brow and it still looks just as natural. Close in here so you guys can see. Okay, so again, if you guys have any more questions, let me know. We're about towards the end of it, so I'll wait for a minute. Hi Tiffany, how are you?
Can't get over how beautiful they look.
So Sarah, let me know, how was your experience?
This was really awesome.
Yeah.
It was not painful. In the beginning, it kind of felt like tweezers on the eyebrow. And then I went numb. And you could hear the tapping from the needle, but you can't feel anything.
Okay, awesome. Alright guys, that's about it. So I'll be posting the before and after photos so you guys can see. And then I have some other photos that I'll be posting to just show you guys a couple of like what to expect from healing. So if that's everything, I'll see you guys some other time here on me. Okay, see you guys. Bye. Thank you.